one loose wheel, one shattered dream. But Bubba Wallace refused to break. Let's start with something simple. Imagine you've been working your entire life for one moment. Every sacrifice, every early morning, every late night, every doubt, every setback, all of it leading to one single race. And then, in the blink of an eye, one tiny mechanical failure takes it all away from you. That's what happened to Bubba Wallace in San Diego. But to truly understand why this moment hit so differently, why this particular race hurt so much more than the others, why this specific comeback meant so much more than just a second-place finish, you have to go back. Way back. Because Bubba Wallace's story didn't start in San Diego. It started long before that. In a world where the odds were stacked against him before he even got behind the wheel. And trust me, by the time we get to the end of this story, you're going to look at that second-place finish in a completely different way. So let's go all the way back to the beginning. The early years, where it all started. Bubba Wallace was born on October 8, 1993, in Huntsville, Alabama. His full name is William Darrell Wallace Jr., but the world knows him simply as Bubba. From a very young age, racing was in his blood. His father, Darrell Wallace Sr., introduced him to the sport early, and from the moment Bubba got behind the wheel of a go-kart, it was obvious. This kid had something special. But growing up as a young black kid in the world of NASCAR wasn't easy. NASCAR has always been a predominantly white sport. The culture, the fan base, the drivers, the team owners, for decades, it was a world that didn't look much like Bubba Wallace. And yet, he didn't let that stop him. He pushed forward. He competed. He won. At just 19 years old, Bubba Wallace became the first African-American driver to win at the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East level in over 50 years. That wasn't just a personal achievement. That was a historic moment for the entire sport. A statement that said, "I belong here. And no matter what anyone says, you cannot take that away from me." He moved up through the ranks, competing in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, where he continued to impress. His raw talent was undeniable. His racecraft was sharp. His ability to find speed in a car was something that caught the attention of team owners and fans alike. But talent alone doesn't guarantee success in NASCAR. This sport runs on money, and money was always something Bubba Wallace had to fight for. The struggle to stay relevant. Here's something most casual NASCAR fans don't fully understand. Breaking into the Cup Series, NASCAR's top level, is one of the hardest things any driver can do. It's not just about being fast. You need sponsorship money. You need the right team. You need the right car. You need timing. You need luck. For years, Bubba Wallace had the talent, but not always the resources. He competed in the Xfinity Series, NASCAR's second-tier level, and showed flashes of brilliance. But getting that full-time Cup ride felt like chasing a horizon that kept moving further away. Then came 2017. Richard Petty Motorsports, one of the most storied teams in NASCAR history, gave Bubba Wallace a shot. He would drive the number 43 car, the same number made famous by Richard Petty himself, the king of NASCAR. No pressure, right? Bubba showed up ready. He knew what this opportunity meant. He knew the history behind that number, and he was determined to honor it. His early Cup years were a mixed bag. The equipment at Richard Petty Motorsports wasn't always the best. Funding was tight. The cars weren't always competitive. There were frustrating days, difficult races, and moments where it seemed like the ceiling might just be too low. But then came February 2018, the Daytona 500, the race that changed everything, Daytona 2018. If you want to understand Bubba Wallace, you have to understand what happened at Daytona in 2018. The Daytona 500 is the biggest race in NASCAR, the Super Bowl of stock car racing. Every driver dreams of winning it. And in 2018, Bubba Wallace, driving an underfunded car with a team that was fighting just to survive, nearly did exactly that. He finished second place at the Daytona 500, in a car that had no business running that well, against the best drivers in the world. The entire NASCAR community stood up and took notice. This wasn't luck. This wasn't a fluke. This was a supremely talented racing driver showing the world exactly what he was capable of when given any kind of chance. After that race, Bubba Wallace wasn't just a young driver trying to make it anymore. He was a legitimate Cup Series competitor, and the doors that had been cracked open before, they were now swinging wide open. But even with that Daytona result, the road ahead wasn't suddenly easy. Richard Petty Motorsports was still a team with limited resources. The results were inconsistent. There were good days and bad days. And the whispers that had always followed Bubba, questions about whether he truly belonged at the top level, never fully went away. He kept pushing. 2020, the year everything changed off the track. 2020 was unlike any other year in American history. The COVID-19 pandemic shut the world down. And in the middle of all of that, the murder of George Floyd sparked a national reckoning on racial justice that shook every corner of American society, including NASCAR. Bubba Wallace became one of the most prominent voices calling for change. He publicly called on NASCAR to ban the Confederate flag from its events. And NASCAR listened. The flag was banned. It was a massive cultural shift for a sport that had deep roots in Southern culture. Then came the incident that made international headlines. In June 2020, a noose was found hanging in Bubba Wallace's garage stall at Talladega Superspeedway. The FBI investigated. Ultimately, it was determined that the rope had been there since 2019 and was used as a garage door pull, not placed there as a threat. But the initial reports sent shockwaves through the sport. What happened next was one of the most powerful moments in NASCAR history. Before the race at Talladega, every single NASCAR driver pushed Bubba's number 43 car to the front of the pit lane in a show of solidarity. Bubba stood on top of his car, tears streaming down his face, surrounded by his peers, in a moment that transcended sport. That image went around the world. Bubba Wallace was no longer just a NASCAR driver. He was a symbol, a voice, a figure that represented something much bigger than racing. But with that visibility came pressure. Enormous, suffocating pressure. Every race, every result, every interview was scrutinized in a way that most drivers never have to deal with. People who had never watched a NASCAR race in their lives suddenly had opinions about Bubba Wallace. Some supportive, some incredibly cruel. And through all of it, he still had to get in the car and race. That takes a different kind of strength. 23-11 Racing, a new beginning. In 2021, everything changed again. Denny Hamlin, one of NASCAR's all-time greats and a three-time Daytona 500 winner, had a vision. He wanted to start a new team. A team co-owned by NBA superstar Michael Jordan. A team built around Bubba Wallace. 23-11 Racing was born. The name combined Michael Jordan's iconic number 23 and Denny Hamlin's number 11. And at the center of it all was Bubba Wallace, driving the number 23 car. This was a massive moment. Not just for Bubba, not just for NASCAR, but for American sports in general. Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time, was now a NASCAR team owner. And the driver carrying that legacy was a young black man from Alabama who had spent years fighting just to stay in the sport. The optics were powerful, but the pressure was even more powerful. Year one at 23-11 was a learning experience. The team was new. Building a competitive NASCAR Cup team from scratch takes time, money, and patience. There were growing pains. But Bubba showed flashes, moments where you could see the potential of what this team could become. Then came the win. Talladega 2021, the breakthrough. October 2021, Talladega Superspeedway, the same track where a noose had been found in his garage just over a year earlier. Bubba Wallace won. He crossed the finish line first at Talladega and became just the second black driver to win a Cup Series race in the modern era. The emotion that poured out of him was raw and real and impossible to watch without feeling something yourself. He pointed to the sky. He cried. His crew cried. Denny Hamlin cried. Michael Jordan, watching from the infield, couldn't contain his emotions either. It was more than a race win. It was validation. It was a statement. It was the payoff for every year of struggle, every doubt, every cruel comment, every moment where it would have been so easy to just walk away. Bubba Wallace didn't walk away. He fought. And Talladega proved it was all worth it. But here's the thing about NASCAR. One win doesn't solve everything. The very next week, you're back out there. The target on your back gets bigger. The expectations rise. And the brutal reality of this sport, that consistency is everything, comes rushing back. The years of building, finding consistency. After Talladega, 23-11 Racing continued to grow. The team added a second car. Tyler Reddick joined as a teammate. The organization expanded its resources, its personnel, its technical partnerships. Bubba showed improvement. There were strong runs, competitive finishes, moments where the number 23 car was genuinely one of the fastest on the track. But wins were hard to come by. NASCAR's top teams, Hendrick Motorsports, Team Penske, Joe Gibbs Racing, have resources and experience that are extremely difficult to match. Road courses remained a particular challenge for Bubba. In a sport where road course events have become increasingly important, it was an area that the team identified as a weakness that needed to be addressed. Bubba worked on it. The team worked on it. But results on these types of tracks were inconsistent at best. Entering the 2025 season, Bubba Wallace had proven himself as a legitimate Cup competitor. But the questions that have always followed him: can he win consistently? Can he perform on road courses? Can the number 23 team take that next step? We're still very much alive. Then came San Diego. San Diego 2025, the stage is set. Naval Base Coronado, NASCAR's first ever Cup race at this venue. A street course that promised to be tight, technical, and unforgiving. The kind of track that rewards precision and punishes mistakes. Going into this race, nobody was putting Bubba Wallace among the favorites. His road and street course record spoke for itself. One top 5 finish in 40 previous starts on these types of circuits. The expectations were modest at best. But from the very first practice session, something felt different. The number 23 Toyota was quick. Genuinely quick. Not just competitive for Bubba quick. Actually, legitimately, could win this race quick. The team noticed. Bubba noticed. And as the race approached, there was a quiet confidence building inside that garage that hadn't been there before on a road course weekend. When the green flag dropped in San Diego, Bubba Wallace meant business. He was running near the front. He was making smart decisions. He was reading the track well. He was managing traffic intelligently. Every lap that went by, it became more and more obvious. This wasn't a fluke. The number 23 car had real pace, and Bubba Wallace was driving with the kind of control and confidence you typically don't associate with him on road courses. For the first time, a road course win felt genuinely possible for Bubba Wallace. Then stage 1 happened. The moment everything fell apart. Coming through a section of the Naval Base Coronado street course, the right front wheel detached from the number 23 car. Just like that. 1 second Bubba was running near the front, thinking about wins and stages and championships. The next second, the wheel was gone, the caution was out, and the radio crackled with his voice. There it went. You've got to be kidding me. Those words, that tone, the absolute disbelief mixed with raw frustration. If you've ever worked incredibly hard for something and then watched it slip through your fingers at the worst possible moment, you understood exactly how Bubba Wallace felt in that instant. Under NASCAR rules, a loose wheel is treated as a serious safety violation. The penalty is immediate and severe, a 2-lap penalty during the race. On top of that, 2 pit crew members face a 2-race suspension. In one moment, the number 23 team went from dreaming about victory lane to scrambling just to salvage something from the weekend. 2 laps. On a tight, technical street course where track position is everything. Where passing is difficult. Where losing ground means losing races. Most drivers in that situation fold. They go through the motions. They protect equipment. They manage the damage and start thinking about next week. Bubba Wallace is not most drivers. The comeback, lap by lap, pass by pass. What happened next in San Diego was something special. Something that reminded everyone watching exactly what kind of racing driver Bubba Wallace has become. He got to the back. He looked at the gap. He looked at the laps remaining. And he went to work. Lap by lap. Pass by pass. Position by position. He was aggressive without being reckless. He was patient when patience was needed and attacked when the opportunity presented itself. The number 23 car had the speed, and Bubba had the determination to use it. The team never gave up on the radio. The crew kept working, kept pushing information to him, kept believing that somehow, someway, they could make something out of this disaster. And slowly, impossibly, the number 23 car started moving forward. Each lap brought a new battle. Each pass brought the front of the field a little closer. The crowd, watching this remarkable recovery unfold, began to take notice. This wasn't just a driver doing his job. This was a driver refusing to accept defeat. This was a driver showing everyone exactly why he deserves to be in the conversation with the best in this sport. By the time the final laps of the San Diego race were counting down, Bubba Wallace had done something extraordinary. He had climbed all the way back to second place. Second place, after a 2-lap penalty, on a road course, the same type of track that had given him nothing but trouble for years, against the best drivers in the world. When the checkered flag waved, Bubba Wallace crossed the line in P2, his best finish of the year, one of the most impressive drives of his career. And yet, he didn't celebrate like it was a win, because it wasn't. And he knew exactly what could have been. The what if that haunts you. After the race, Bubba Wallace's reaction was complicated. There was pride in the recovery. There was satisfaction in showing what the number 23 car could do. But underneath all of that, there was something else. The what if. What if the wheel had stayed on? What if there had been no penalty? What if the number 23 team had been able to run a clean race with that kind of speed? Those questions don't go away easily, because the answer to all of them points in the same direction. Bubba Wallace might have won that race. Not might have competed well. Not might have had a good day. Might have actually, genuinely, stood in victory lane at NASCAR's first ever race at Naval Base Coronado. That kind of feeling is different from any other kind of disappointment in racing. Missing a win because you weren't fast enough, that hurts, but you understand it. Missing a win because of something out of your control, when you had the speed to do it, when everything was there except for one loose wheel, that's the kind of thing that sticks with you. Denny Hamlin understood that completely. After the race, he talked about what Bubba had accomplished. He pointed out the comeback, the drive, the sheer determination it took to go from the back to second place on a street course. He called it really, really impressive, and coming from a driver of Hamlin's caliber, that means something. But Hamlin also said something even more important. He pointed out that in NASCAR, if the only thing that makes you happy is winning trophies, you're going to be miserable most of the time. Sometimes you have to recognize the smaller victories along the way. For Bubba Wallace, San Diego was full of smaller victories. The speed on a road course, the recovery from a disastrous penalty, the composure under pressure, the proof, undeniable, on-track proof, that he has become a much better road course driver than anyone gave him credit for. And in the bigger picture of his career, those things matter enormously. What San Diego means for the future. Let's zoom out for a second and think about what San Diego actually means for Bubba Wallace and 23XI racing going forward. For years, Tyler Reddick was the driver carrying the team's road course hopes. When NASCAR went to circuits like Sonoma, COTA, Watkins Glen, or now San Diego, Reddick was the one expected to lead the charge. Bubba was expected to do the best he could and move on. San Diego changed that conversation completely. Now, 23XI Racing has 2 drivers who can legitimately compete on road courses. And in a sport where road course events are becoming more and more important to the championship fight, that is a massive development. Think about what that means for the rest of the season. Every road course event on the calendar now has a different look for the number 23 team. Instead of hoping to survive, they're showing up expecting to compete. Instead of asking Bubba to manage the race, they can ask him to attack it. That shift in mindset, from survival to competition, is everything in NASCAR. And then there's Sonoma. Historically, Sonoma has been one of Bubba Wallace's toughest tracks. The results there have been frustrating. The layout doesn't naturally suit his driving style. Going into previous Sonoma weekends, the question was never can Bubba win. It was, can Bubba make it through cleanly? But after San Diego, the entire outlook has changed. Bubba Wallace is heading to Sonoma with confidence that wasn't there before. Real confidence, built on actual speed, not just hope. And in racing, confidence changes everything. It changes how you approach a corner. It changes how aggressive you are in traffic. It changes the conversations you have with your crew chief. It changes the decisions you make under pressure. Confidence built on proof is the most dangerous kind of confidence. And Bubba Wallace just got a massive injection of it. The shadow of the penalty, what comes next? But we can't pretend the San Diego weekend was all positives, because there's still a very real problem hanging over the number 23 team. The loose wheel. Under NASCAR's rulebook, what happened in San Diego doesn't just result in a race penalty. 2 pit crew members are facing a 2-race suspension. That's the standard punishment for a loose wheel violation. And based on how NASCAR has handled similar situations earlier this season, there's no reason to believe the number 23 team will be treated any differently. And that creates a serious problem. Pit stops in NASCAR are not just a routine part of the race. They are strategic moments that can win or lose championships. The men and women who go over the wall, the tire changers, the tire carriers, the jackmen, the fueler, are among the most skilled athletes in all of motorsports. They train constantly. They work as a unit. Their timing, their precision, their communication, it all has to be perfect every single time. When you lose 2 members of that unit for 2 races, the disruption is real. Replacements have to step in. Chemistry has to be rebuilt. The split-second coordination that takes months and years to develop has to be reconstructed on the fly. And in a sport decided by hundredths of a second, that disruption can absolutely change the outcome of races. One mistake already cost Bubba Wallace a potential win in San Diego. The fallout from that mistake could cost the number 23 team dearly in the races that follow. That's what makes this story so layered. On the surface, it looks like a great recovery, a second-place finish after a disaster. But underneath, there are real consequences that will follow this team into the next few weeks. How they handle those consequences will tell us a lot about where 23XI Racing truly is as an organization. The bigger picture, Bubba Wallace's legacy in the making. Let's step back even further and think about Bubba Wallace's career as a whole. Because I think sometimes, in the rush to analyze race results and penalties and standings, we lose sight of the remarkable story that's been unfolding right in front of us. This is a man who grew up in Alabama dreaming of racing, who broke into a sport that didn't look like him, who made history before most people even knew his name, who carried the weight of a nation's racial reckoning on his shoulders while also trying to compete against the best racing drivers in the world, who found a noose, or what appeared to be a noose, in his garage and still had to get in the car the next day and race, who won at Talladega, on the same track, and cried tears that contained everything, the pain, the joy, the history, the future, who helped build 23XI Racing from nothing into a legitimate championship contender, and who, on a Sunday afternoon in San Diego, at a track he'd never raced on before, in a discipline that had never been his strongest suit, showed everyone that he is still growing, still improving, still finding new levels. That trajectory, the constant upward movement, the refusal to plateau, the commitment to getting better even when the results don't always show it, is what separates good drivers from great ones. Bubba Wallace is on a path to being great. Not just good, not just competitive, great. And San Diego, as complicated and painful as it was, might be one of the most important data points on that path. What the NASCAR world is saying. The reaction to Bubba Wallace's San Diego performance hasn't been limited to Denny Hamlin. Around the NASCAR paddock, people are talking. Because what happened in San Diego is the kind of performance that changes perceptions. It's the kind of performance that makes crew chiefs at other teams sit up straight. It's the kind of performance that makes sponsors notice. It's the kind of performance that makes championship teams start thinking about contingency plans for when they're racing against the number 23 car. For years, there was a version of Bubba Wallace that other teams could count on to have a bad road course day. That version appears to be gone. The new version, the one who showed up in San Diego, is the version that other teams need to prepare for. Because when you combine real road course speed with the kind of racecraft and determination that Bubba showed in that comeback drive, you have a driver who can beat you anywhere. And in a sport where championships are often decided by small margins, that matters more than people realize. Sonoma, the next test. All roads lead to Sonoma. Sonoma Raceway in California is one of the most challenging road courses on the NASCAR schedule. It demands technical precision, smooth inputs, and a very specific driving style. It has historically favored drivers with strong road racing backgrounds, drivers who grew up on these types of circuits. Bubba Wallace has never had a great Sonoma result. The track has been a source of frustration more than anything else. Going into previous Sonoma weekends, the strategy for the number 23 team was often about damage control rather than victory. But everything is different now. San Diego didn't just give Bubba a good result. It gave him proof. Proof that his road course driving has genuinely improved. Proof that the number 23 car can be set up to compete on these types of tracks. Proof that when everything comes together, he can run at the very front. That proof changes the conversation heading into Sonoma completely. Instead of walking into that weekend hoping to survive, Bubba Wallace walks in believing he can win. And belief, real belief, backed by real evidence, is a powerful thing in motorsport. The question is whether the team can carry the momentum while also dealing with the pit crew suspensions that are likely coming. Can they maintain their performance level with disruptions to their pit crew? Can Bubba keep his confidence high even while navigating the fallout from San Diego? Those are the questions that will define the next chapter of this story. The final word, turning pain into fuel. Here's what I keep coming back to when I think about Bubba Wallace in San Diego. He had everything he needed to win. The car, the speed, the track position, the confidence. All of it was there. And then one loose will took it away. Lesser drivers and lesser people would let that break them. They would carry that disappointment into the next race. They would tighten up. They would second-guess themselves. They would play it safe instead of attacking. Bubba Wallace has never been that kind of driver. His entire career has been built on getting knocked down and getting back up, on facing obstacles that most of his competitors have never had to deal with and finding a way through them anyway, on proving over and over again that he belongs in this sport, not because anyone handed it to him, but because he earned it. San Diego is just the latest chapter in that story. A wheel came off, a penalty was given, a potential win slipped away, and Bubba Wallace still finished second, still delivered one of the most impressive comeback drives of the season, still proved that the number 23 team is moving in exactly the right direction. If he can take the frustration of San Diego and channel it into fuel for Sonoma and beyond, if he can use that pain as motivation rather than letting it become a burden, then San Diego won't be remembered as the race that got away. It will be remembered as the race that lit the fire. And knowing Bubba Wallace, knowing everything he's been through, everything he's overcome, everything he's proven, I wouldn't bet against him. The best is still coming, and the NASCAR world had better be ready. And before you go, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, I want you to know something. You're not just a casual fan. You're someone who actually cares about these stories, about the human beings behind the helmets, about the struggle and the sacrifice and the sheer determination it takes to compete at this level. And that's exactly why this channel exists. We don't just cover race results. We cover the real stories, the ones that make you feel something, the ones that remind you why you fell in love with this sport in the first place. Bubba Wallace's story is one of those stories. And it's not over, not even close. There are more chapters coming, more races, more moments that will make your jaw drop or your heart sink or your eyes water. And we're going to be here for every single one of them. So if this video meant something to you, if Bubba's story moved you even a little, please hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on the notifications bell, because the next chapter is coming fast and you don't want to miss it. This community is built for real NASCAR fans. For people who understand that this sport is about more than just cars going around in circles. It's about people. It's about heart. It's about the relentless human desire to be the best and the courage to keep going when everything falls apart. That's what Bubba Wallace showed us in San Diego. And that's what we're going to keep showing you right here. Welcome to the family. We're glad you're here.